Hi, so what I'm going to show you now is a very powerful way of changing between units, and it looks like it's overly complicating something that seems very simple. But the power of this thing that I'm going to show you really comes not when you're changing units, but when you're trying to make many changes all at once. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. First, I'm going to show you the very basic version of this. So imagine that I have 10 kilometers and I want to know how much that is in meters. Now, of course, I know that's 10,000 meters, but I'm just showing you this once so that you can see the basic idea behind this. So what I do is I take 10 kilometers, and the way that I can understand this is as 10 multiplying a quantity that is called a kilometer. So basically, one kilometer is just 1,000 meters, but it's just a quantity. It's just like saying 5 or 200, like x. So you can imagine this as an x. And what I want to do is get rid of this x and put something else instead, but without changing the actual amount here. Now, in order to do this, what I do is I multiply by 1. So that's why this is called a factor. A factor is just something that multiplies your stuff. So this is my factor, this is a division sign, and I'm going to put something on top and something at the bottom. At the bottom, normally I put what I want to get rid of. It really depends. My kilometers are here on top, they're multiplying, so I want to get rid of them. So I need something dividing here so that I can cross them out. So for example, I put here kilometers, and this way I will be able to cross them out because this is just like an x. So x over x, that's 1. And here on top, I put what I want to get. So in this case, I want to get meters. And now I see if I want this thing to be equal to 1, whatever's in here has to be equal to whatever's in here. So really 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. And now I can easily see this gets rid of this, and then I get 10 times 1,000. All I need to do is now multiply everything on top, divide by everything at the bottom, which is 1, and then I'll get the amount of meters. So this is equal to 10,000 meters. Now you're probably thinking, that seems like a very long and boring way of doing what I already know how to do. So why are you making me do this? Well, the reason for this is that when instead of one unit you have a bunch here, then things get a little trickier. Let me show you why. What if I have, let's say, 50 kilometers per hour? Now see, this is different. I can't readily change between these things. I don't know the conversion factor. I would have to change kilometers to meters, and then I would have to change the hours to seconds. But using conversion factors, this is child's play. Let me show you how. Well, the first thing is I make a factor to change from kilometers to meters. Okay, so again, I need my kilometers at the bottom, 1 kilometer, and then on top, I put 1,000 meters. And I can really do this however I want. So for example, I could get, as long as these two things are equal, it also works. So I could just say 0.001 kilometers are equal to 1 meter. It really wouldn't matter as long as these two things are the same. Okay, then I'm like, now that got rid of my kilometers, but now I need to get rid of my hours. Well, no problem. For this, I need another conversion factor. Now my hours are dividing, so if I want to get rid of them, they need to be multiplying. So then I make my other conversion factor. Now my hours should be on top because I want them multiplying. So here I get an hour. And then let's say that I don't remember how to turn hours to seconds. So I just turn them to minutes first. Okay, so. And then for these two things to be equal, I need to write things that make them equal. So 1 hour is 60 minutes. And now that's great because I got rid of my hour, but I still have minutes here and I want seconds. No problem. I make another conversion factor. And then I'm like, okay, minutes to minutes, I'll get rid of them here. And then here seconds, so again 1 minute is 60 seconds, and then that's it. And now all I need to do is multiply 50 times 1,000 and then divide by 3,300, and that's what's going to give me my kilometers per hour in meters per second. Now let me show you another use of this thing. So for example, I could use this for density. Imagine that I have something in grams per centimeter cubed. and I want it in kilograms per meter cubed. So what do I do? Well, no problem, just one thing after another. So first thing I go and I say, well, grams to kilograms, so grams go here, kilograms go here. Now I want these two things to be equal, so it's easier to put the bigger one as 1 and then this one 1,000 rather than 1 and 0.00 something. At least it's less confusing. So 1 kilo, 1,000 grams. And then I'm like, okay, now the centimeters cubed. Well, I don't know how to change centimeters cubed to meters, but I do know how to change centimeters to meters. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I put centimeters on top, meters here, and I know that 100 centimeters are 1 meter. And that allows me to get rid of one of these centimeters, but not all, because this is centimeter times centimeter times centimeter. So I need to do this 3 times. Now I can either just multiply again and then again, or simply I can just cube this thing. And then this gets rid of that, this gets rid of that, and I get my answer in kilograms per meter cubed. But this has even more uses for other kinds of really, really creative work. So for example, imagine that I want to know how many notebook pages do all students in the world combined own. So I want to know notebook pages of all students in the world. This can also be done with conversion factors. The trick is you start with whatever it is that you know. In this case, I know that in the world there's roughly 7 billion people. So 7 times 10 to the 9 people. Now let's say roughly 1 out of 10 are going to go to school. So for each 10 people, I get 1 student. Now each student will have around 5 to 10 notebooks. Let's just say 10 notebooks. So 1 student, we have 10 notebooks. And then each notebook has around 1,000 pages. So 1 notebook will have 100 pages. And then I just multiply it all out. This 10 goes with this 10, so it's this times this. So I get 7 times 10 to the 11, or 700 billion pages. There you go. It didn't take me any time. All the trick is always, what do I know? This thing. For every so many of these, there are so many of those. For every so many of those, there are so many of these. And you just keep going, keep going, keep going, and you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with this. Now, once you finish the long problems, which will force you to use conversion factors in the way that we saw above, so over here, like this, when you finally go into the creative problems, you will see many other problems which are just like this one, and even weirder. And what I want you to do is to use this method to see what the real power of conversion factor is. So, have fun, and if you need help, I'm right there.